Hey loves, welcome to Inner Love Messages. My name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. Before we dive into today's reading, I have a couple of quick updates for you. Now, for today's reading, we're focusing on a no-contact message from your person. I feel that many divine feminines are seeking clarity right now, trying to understand what's happening behind the scenes, how your person truly sees you, and what they think about your connection, especially if there's physical or emotional distance. To explore this, I'll be using the No Contact Messages deck to tap into your person's current feelings. The first message coming through is, you can't handle the truth. Right away, this gives us insight into someone who may have ghosted you, withdrawn, or even rejected the connection. It seems like they're dealing with something heavy, something external to your relationship. If you've been wondering whether you did something wrong or played a part in this distance, the energy here suggests that it's not about you at all. Instead, your person is carrying a burden that feels too overwhelming to share. I sense that whatever they're facing is so intense that they believe telling you the truth would somehow damage your connection. They might fear that revealing everything would change how you see them, or even make it harder for you to continue as you were. But here's the thing. This silence has left you deeply disappointed. It's not just about what they're going through. It's the fact that they didn't give you the choice to face it with them. You value honesty and openness, and it hurts that they pulled away instead of trusting you with the truth. From their perspective, distancing themselves might have felt like a way to protect you. Maybe they feared that their struggles would become a burden on you, but in doing so, they've left you feeling unacknowledged and hurt. You may have even tried to encourage open communication, only to feel them pull away further every time you reached out. The next message coming through is, right person, wrong time. This energy suggests that your connection moved quickly, almost like a whirlwind. Your person might have felt swept up in it, completely immersed in the intensity of your bond. But then, when something external hit them, it was like a tidal wave, forcing them to pull back. This isn't about a lack of love or care. In fact, I feel they care for you deeply, but they're struggling to balance their personal challenges with the emotional depth of this relationship. There's something heavy weighing on them, something they haven't shared. When you first met, everything felt amazing. The connection was powerful, and it all seemed to fall into place effortlessly. But then, almost suddenly, their energy shifted. It feels like whatever they were dealing with behind the scenes started to spill over and affect the relationship. It's possible they initially saw this as something light or casual, but then, without expecting it, they fell for you, hard and fast. That depth of emotion, combined with the weight of their personal struggles, created a conflict within them. The timing seems to have played a huge role in why things unfolded the way they did. If you're enjoying our video and feel like supporting us, you can find the donation link in the About section and the description box. You can also send a super chat. Your support truly motivates us to keep creating helpful content. Now, let's dive back in. There's a belief they hold that manifests in the thought, you're too good for me. It's not necessarily about self-worth, but more about how they perceive you. They might see you as wiser, more emotionally or spiritually advanced, or perhaps even older, creating a sense of imbalance. Whatever they're dealing with, even if it seems small to you, feels massive to them, and they worry about how you'd see them if you knew the truth. Because they're not in a place where they can fully open up, they've started projecting their fears onto you, assuming you'd judge or dismiss them. This emotional weight makes it difficult for them to share, creating distance between you. They don't know how you'd react if they were completely honest, and they feel ashamed of their inability to communicate. At first, you were probably reaching out, trying to understand and offer support. But after facing resistance or silence, you pulled back, giving them space. Instead of finding clarity, they're now confused about where they stand with you. They've noticed the shift in your energy, even if you didn't intend to create distance. They're still tuned in to you, but their own emotional struggles are clouding their perspective, making it hard for them to bridge the gap. There's a strong presence of divine feminine energy in this dynamic, a deep, intuitive connection that hasn't been fully expressed. In a way, you might be mirroring each other. Just as they're holding back, you've also kept some feelings to yourself, which has contributed to a breakdown in communication. If you've been trying to make sense of what's going on, this seems to be a reflection of their thought process. They've been projecting their internal struggles onto the relationship, causing things to spiral in a way they never intended. When people feel overwhelmed, they sometimes let things fall apart rather than addressing them head on. Your person seems to be making excuses, telling themselves, "You wouldn't understand," or "You're too good for me." But the real frustration is that they never gave you the chance to decide for yourself. You value honesty and transparency, and at the very least, you believe there should have been a conversation. Instead, they made that choice for you, leaving you feeling shut out, which is where much of the frustration stems from. Despite the distance, they still feel deeply connected to you. They regret how things played out and can't seem to move on. They think highly of you and crave the nurturing and respect you brought into their life, yet they struggle to express these feelings. They were comfortable with your presence and support when they were facing challenges, but now that they've pulled away, they can't stop thinking about you. There's a pattern here. They justify their withdrawal by convincing themselves that you wouldn't understand, or that you're too emotionally or spiritually advanced to relate to their struggles. In doing so, they avoid confronting their own emotions. But deep down, they still feel the pull toward you, unable to fully let go. The person you're connected with is struggling internally, torn between vulnerability and self-justification. They've already opened up to you in the past, but now they find themselves in an emotional tug-of-war. On one hand, they recognize how external influences impacted your connection and accept their role in it. They want to reach out, have an honest conversation, and mend the distance between you. On the other hand, they retreat into justifying their actions, which keeps them stuck in this cycle of uncertainty. This inner conflict only highlights how deeply they're consumed by thoughts of you and your connection. There have been delays and complications, but at the core of it, they are reaching a turning point. They're becoming more willing to take responsibility for their part in what happened. What they once believed you couldn't handle, they now feel ready to share. It's clear they've been reflecting deeply and can't seem to get you out of their mind. They're realizing that they may have pushed you away unnecessarily, distancing themselves from someone who, in hindsight, might have been open to working things through. Even if they weren't sure at the time, they now see that they should have at least given you the choice, instead of letting their own insecurities and doubts dictate the outcome. Despite everything, their feelings for you remain strong, and they still hold a deep sense of love and respect. Ironically, that very respect may have been what caused them to hesitate in the first place. They didn't want to burden you with their struggles, but by keeping you out of the decision-making process, they unintentionally left you feeling disappointed and overlooked. Now, they seem to understand that you deserve the truth. They respect you enough to finally share it with you, and you may be hearing from them soon as they open up about what led to the distance between you. That's the key message for today. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care